All right, welcome to Late Night Gaming. I'm Poem. I'm with McBobber, Woo, and Solo, and we're going to be talking about some new Star Wars Unlimited cards that have been revealed this past week. And the first one is Sabine. She's let's talk about her leader card. She has an action. You don't have to spend any resources, which is interesting, and it does 1 damage to each base. And her unit side comes in on with 4 resources, so on turn 3 most likely, and it's a 2/5 on attack, deal 1 damage to each base. What do you think about this one, Woo?
Each enemy base.
Each enemy base. Sorry about that. What do you think, bud?
I like this card and what it's kind of pointing red at. We're just trying to kill the opponent quickly. It's the cheapest leader in the game. It's doing damage every turn, even as a leader card. I think it currently just doesn't have that much support because red's a pretty shallow color. It hasn't been revealed, not many has been revealed from it yet, but that's not really a knock on Sabine. It's just how it is right now. But I really like this kind of style, and I think it creates a good floor that you need to be able to beat, right? Aggressive decks tend to kind of police the nonsense that happens around them.
Yeah, it kind of puts a timer on the game at some point, right?
Yeah, nothing stops that leader card, right? If you want, it's 1 damage a turn, no matter what. So you're shortening the game. You're making bases have basically less starting health. Punishes the ones that start with 25 even further.
Okay. What do you think, McBobber?
I mean, Wu was pretty thorough there. It's a hardcore aggro leader, right? It's all about going face, get a quick game in there and kill them fast.
It's like you got somewhere to be, You got a hot date or something. You got to get in and get out there. You got to just
Yeah, the developers were saying when they first revealed this game that games were going to be maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and maybe they're just playing Sabine because she's the one to get those fast games, I think. I do think it's interesting that she has the Mandalorian trait when Boba Fett doesn't. I don't know if that trait will be relevant for a good while, but I wonder why that's the case. I guess there's some debate if Boba Fett counts as a Mandalorian or not, but I would have thought he would.
Spectre 2, which I think is this the first time we're seeing that.
That's right, yeah, the first member of the Spectre cell.
There was some debate on Discord about whether her ability is thematic. Did you guys have a thought on that? And then we'll hear from Solo's perspective on this card.
Well, Sabine is known for using explosives, and this is about damaging bases, so that makes sense to me.
Because she's kind of reckless too, so hits your own base.
She's gonna go steal something and blow something up. All right, Solo, what do you think of this card?
It's really exciting because when I thought of this card, I think I mentioned it to you guys privately, but it made me think about those burn decks in Yu-Gi-Oh, where you're not really. And I could be wrong. There could be big, huge damage aggression cards that are coming out, but maybe not. Maybe that's a command thing. But if there's a consistent burn, like we're chipping away at you very fast, and you don't have time to really do what you want, that's really an exciting strategy because it's really satisfying. Like you got to build for it, and put your opponents on edge, and they don't get to develop big plans. Like this is like a big, middle finger to command. Like, I don't care, you're not ramping. So it's exciting because right now command has commanded this false meta that we're playing in with the limited card pool. But So it's really exciting to see a character like that. The different variances of the game. It's a well-made card.
Yeah, I have a hard time thinking and believing that they're gonna let this character be good. Like they're just not gonna let Sabine just get out of hand and like give her the support she needs to actually like just dominate people. Because like I just don't see it. Because if this character is like the best character, it's you know nobody else can really play the game at that point. The game just ends. Like I'm not
Well,
seeing it.
in Destiny, Sabine was one of the best characters for a little while. It can happen.
I think there's always fluctuations in metas, but aggro being a top tier deck is, I think, a fine thing for a card game. It's happened in tons of card games.
Well, look, let's look at it like this. Ag- Aggro's been consistent because we don't pay attention to it much, but Vader kind of does the same thing. The Vader leader kind of does the same thing, but his just is a different flavor. It's damage from the leader. It's like consistent damage, but the only thing is you have to build for it. Whereas Sabine, you don't have to build for it as much. So we're getting like a theme for aggression, especially aggression leaders.
Yeah, there's definitely a theme of just hitting straight away hitting the base. Well, what do we think about this Death Trooper card? 3 cost unit. It's a Vigilance Villainy 3/3 Imperial Trooper. And when played, deal 2 damage to a friendly ground unit and 2 damage to an enemy ground unit. McBobber, do you want to give us your thoughts on that guy?
Sure. Well, first of all, the art is awesome. He's channeling Rambo here. Pretty cool. Um, Next, I mean, he seems like he's designed to go with Krennic, which makes sense. Stat Troopers are his guys. Krennic wants your guys to be damaged to get that attack bonus. And then obviously killing enemy guys is always good. So, yeah, seems like a good card. If you ever have any of your own guys that you want dead, like maybe Mahdi, you can take out Mahdi to ready your own dude. Maybe Grit guys, too. You want to damage them to get some more out of their attacks. So, he seems like you kind of got to fit him into the right deck. You don't just throw him in anything, I think.
Uh, what did you think, Solo, of the Death Trooper?
Um, I think I need personally McBobber covered most of it, right? I just think to see if the card's going to be more playable in other things, I just need to see more of the card pool because something that's really valuable about Death Trooper is you can play him in command to kill those super laser technicians. So that is valuable too. So, but I think as we see more cards, I think personally, and my bet is that this card gets better. I do think as more cards are released, this will get better.
Yeah, it seems like we've seen a couple guys that want, that like, getting killed by where you can kill your own guys and it's good, like Mahdi, and then Krennic wants it, and there's just going to be more and more stuff like that. It seems like they're going to support that as a play style to hit your own guys to give you a benefit. So
I
yeah,
could see that being the theme of like villain vigilance.
yep.
Yeah, because the thing with Vigilance is they can handle the damage because Vigilance has a lot of those cards that up their defense and heal them and stuff like that. So then it just becomes an attrition war, and
Hmm.
they're gonna outpace you. So I think that's where Vigilance gonna come. They want the attrition, and they know they're gonna win that war.
Okay, Woo, do you like this guy?
Yeah, I do. I think even without like synergy for the self harm, like the fact that the floor here it just hits itself, survives, and can often kill something, I think just makes the card quite good. Like even if you don't care about the self harm, uh, it's just there's not a lot of like direct damage in this game.
So you would consider using his ability to hit himself
I mean,
to
you have
in
nothing
order.
else to hit, right?
Yeah.
He comes in as a 3-1, often will kill a unit, and then he can, as a 3-1, probably trade with another unit. It's it doesn't seem too hard to set this up as a 2-for-1,
Okay.
especially early game. So I like that. And then yeah, you've got your natural synergies. Right now there aren't a ton of them. Like I'd rather not shoot a super laser technician because I'd rather trade that into a unit, right? Um,
Good point.
like I with the grit, there's only one card with grit. I think that card is terrible. So, but I do assume there'll be more grit cards, and they'll probably be pretty strong there. And there's the little droid that heals 2 damage, so you can like shoot something for 2 and then attack with that guy, just heal that 2.
Yep.
But yeah, even the floor 3-1 deal 2. Like, would you play that card if this just was a 3-1 that dealt 2 to another enemy ground unit? I think you play that card. So it's like the worst this can get is that.
All right, you guys seem like you're pretty high on this one. Let's see if you're as high on Agent Callus. And he is a 5-cost 4/4 Imperial Trooper with Ambush. And he's got an ability when another unique unit is defeated, you may draw a card. Uses ability only once each round. Solo, what did you think of Agent Callus?
Man, he's a great mid tier card. Like he's like your perfect mid. He comes in and he just trades. Like so, and then he nets you a card most of the time. So there's a lot of unique units out there, and I'm sorry, McBobber, I'm definitely stealing some of the stuff you said. Just want everyone to know that. But yeah, it's a great card. It's just 5 costs. I know, you know, some people think it's a little on the expensive side as a 4/4, but you in any game, one of the most important things is drawing cards, and that's why. What's that other card that I heard there was a huge debate about whether it's a dumpster fire card, coaster, or if it's good? I'm just a fan of anything that gives you a card. I want to play it. That's my thing.
Yeah, I think the ambush is a keyword that they value a lot in this game. Like this conversion lab that we'll talk about later. Like you have to pay up to get that. I mean, you get it. So it's seems like a pretty important thing, especially being able to come in and help control the board, and you can target which guy you're killing, so you get a good trade out of it. Seems like a pretty important keyword. So I will say I have been in a couple games I played against Callus. I haven't had him in my deck yet, but he's beaten me down pretty good. This guy, he comes in, kills one of my guys, stays on the board, and then he gets a card draw, maybe 2 rounds worth of card draw off of him, and then I finally kill him, and it's like the guy just totally wrecked me. So, what do you have we heard from everybody on this one? Woo, did we hear from you?
Not yet, but
Okay, what do you got?
I think this is like one of the best cards currently revealed. It's
Top 5, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'd put him easily in the top 5. It's where in the top 5 I'd put him. At 5 cost is like really. It's not that crazy in this game. It's like pretty early. In command, you can play this guy on turn 4, right? No, turn 3. If you go turn 2 tech or resupply, you can play this guy on turn 3. It's like nothing is strong enough to like kill him on turn 3, so he's gonna trade up, leave behind a body. There's lots of really cheap uniques in this game, like the droids, Dodonna, Tarkin, the Imperial version of Dodonna, Admiral Veers, the guy standing right next to Agent Callus in this preview. All the leaders are uniques. It's just, yeah, it's very strong. I've been very impressed playing so far.
Alrighty. And McBobber, Agent Callus.
Yeah, I think he's a great card. I was hoping Wu was going to name all the uniques in the game, but he stopped,
Stop.
unfortunately. I was waiting for Yoda to pop out there. Oh well. But yeah,
He
Callus
kills
is
them all, though, right? Like he kills all of them.
Callus is awesome. Like I love this card. He draws cards. He rushes in and kills something probably. If he sticks around, the opponent has to deal with it, or he's going to be more card draw. So like you got to get rid of him. Good stuff.
So
And he's
is
not
it
a villain
safe
either. So both sides can run him.
is it safe to say he's a command staple?
Oh yeah.
So far, yeah, I think of the card pool we have, certainly, I think he should be in every command deck.
Yeah, I think you're putting 3 of this guy in your command decks. The card we have is Colonel Yularen, and he is a 2-cost 2/3 Imperial official. And when you play a command unit, you heal 1 damage from your base. And I think maybe it's my turn to talk first. I don't know. I guess we don't have enough green guys yet. But yeah, he seems like a playable card once we get some more greenies. Doesn't seem like he, is gonna break the game or anything like that. But if aggro is a thing, healing your base seems good. I don't know. He's kind of a unique guy. I'm gonna put like maybe 2 of this guy in my deck. So whereas Callus, I'm a 3 of Callus kind of guy. What do you think, Wu?
I mean, yeah, if we're really worried about aggro, he heals you 1 automatically. What I'm curious about is I know they haven't announced anything about like tournament play, but like if there's sideboards and stuff like that, I could definitely see this kind of be the card that you have like multiple copies in a sideboard, and if like you bump into the Hyper Sabine Ren deck or something, you like slot them in, right? Because they'll probably trade pretty well with aggressive units. If they net you 1 or 2 life each, you're definitely like Burn usually runs out of steam. That's the problem. They have like just enough to do the 30 that they need to do or the 20 that they need to do, and then like, but if you're able to like make your life pool 35, they might have a problem beating you. So this seems like the kind of card that could like be teched in against them.
That's a really good point, Wu. I love that. That's veteran commentary right there. Just want to mention it.
Do you like this guy,
Thank
McBauer?
I think he's pretty solid. I doubt this game's going to have sideboards. That doesn't seem like an FFG staple, but even still, he's a good anti-aggro card, right? Like if you're playing the kind of command deck that wants to go tall and get to 9 resources to drop your Relentless, and you want to play the long game, that's what his job is. Like if you're playing against aggro, they basically have to stop hitting your base and go kill this guy because he's going to represent so much healing that it's a problem.
He basically has Sentinel on his card against aggro.
Practically.
Solo, what do you think of Wolf Yularen, Colonel Yularen?
Man, Wu did such a good job. I'm not sure I can add anything. Yeah, he's giving you extra life, and it's just that simple. I don't think you can play him outside of mono green. So I guess what I could say is that I wonder if this game is going to be better. Are the mono colors going to be better overall, or is mixing and matching going to be the best? And I wonder where the game leans. So cards like this, I think, are green only, and I think you're losing if it's not that. So
Okay, that's a good take. What do you guys think about him not getting the villainy tag? Even though he's like an ISB guy. Whereas like Callus kind of makes sense. Spoiler alert, he kind of switches sides and stuff. Like, do you guys think he should be a villainy tag, this Yularen? Oh, anybody?
My God, if that's a spoiler alert, that's not even fair. Oh, you're not a Star Wars fan if that's a spoiler alert.
I don't know. Some people haven't seen Rebels and stuff,
Yeah, a lot of people don't watch the animated shows.
I'm less of a like everything needs to be on theme. Like I care more about the game being balanced than I care everything is like 100% like lore accurate.
But
So
That's the thing with FFG though. Not only is the game balanced, the game is thematic. That's a difficult task, and I think FFG is really flexing their design muscles because like that's hard to do. It's hard.
Okay.
I think Yularen not being villain is thematic. I think that's very much on purpose. Um, so if you like, his character hasn't been in the movies very much. Pretty much, he's mostly in the Clone Wars show, but that's pre-Empire where he's a good guy. But even in the couple times you see him post Imperial, I guess, essentially once the Empire rises and he's an Imperial ISB dude, um, he seems like a pretty chill guy. Like he's not super ambitious. He's not super nasty to everybody. He's not killing his own dudes or betraying people and backstabbing them to get ahead. Like he seems like a pretty decent guy
I
from
didn't think
what little
so,
you
but
see of him.
you seem
Unlike
sure.
almost every other Imperial officer who are like conniving, backstabbing, trying to get ahead like all the time. Like he seems like he's not that. Like so, he's not necessarily an evil guy just because he's in the Empire.
Okay. We got one more
That's my
card to
take.
talk about. Energy Conversion Lab. Play a unit that costs 6 or less from your hand. Give it ambush for this phase. Woo, do you like this guy? Or this unit? Or what is this
the
called?
base.
Base?
Yeah, I
That's,
mean
that's a lot of things right there.
Yeah.
reaction seems good. I don't yet know how to evaluate like the 5 life you're giving up for using the bases. I do like that it's actually 6 or less because I think that helps you like take board control early. Like you can even play this on the first turn, right? They play like a low like a 2/2. You play a 2/3, kill it with the ambush. You've like kind of taken tempo pretty early. It going all the way up to 6 does still mean that you can play like baddies and ambush with them. So I think the effect is strong. It's free. It's on your base. Is it worth 5 life? Is not something yet I know how to evaluate.
McBobber, do you think it's worth 5 life to have ambush on a stick?
Every single time. I'm never playing Death Star Command Center ever. I'm playing only this if it's the choice between those two. I think this effect is awesome. I love ambush. I'll give up 5 health for that every time.
Wow. Okay. Solo, are you as high on this card as McBobber?
I'm torn, and I haven't even played. I've only played the base once. I'm torn because I think health is so precious, and so that I'm just torn. I'm with Woo where like I have not. McBobber's convinced already. That's great. I'm not there yet. I'm torn because like I want to like this card. Like I look at it and I love ambush too, but do I love ambush over my health? Like I guess if you're sure about your deck strategy and you know like all right your deck in and out and the path you're gonna take, and then you can give up the 5 health for that, sure. But if you need some security, I wouldn't recommend playing that base. I wouldn't recommend playing any base that drops you your health because you sometimes things don't always go right, and
Hmm.
that extra 5 health is the difference. So that's why I'm. It's tough. It's tough
I've
because
been going back and forth on it too, Solo. Like, initially I was like, I'll try this thing out. I built some, like, I changed some of my units to be like, instead of Relentless, I'll play ATST kind of thing so I can make sure to proc this. And then I was playing with Vika from, he was second place at Worlds in Destiny. Played with him last night, and we were talking about this card, and I think he communicated that he wasn't quite convinced that it was worth it. I tend to trust that guy. I don't know. Yeah. I think it's kind of tricky that like we said with the burn decks, like if they're just going to melt your
Big Barber's
guy,
like
you're
cowards.
trying to ramp, in green. Like you need as much health in your base as you can to stabilize and stuff. So it's tricky. But I
Big
also
Barber's like
tend to trust
cowards.
McBobber. Like in McBobber we trust.
I
So
guess here's the thing. You brought up something that's key here, Poem. The key to this is what is your strategy? And that's going to determine if that base is worth it or not. I think if you're playing a more weenie rush command deck, a lower characters, you're not trying to build into dropping a relentless. You're just trying to consistently put pressure on your opponent through the command aspect. That base definitely is worth it. But if you're building to be big and have a commanding presence, like a huge presence, in the way of not overwhelming your character with low level characters, but having the big ATSTs and the relentless and the stuff like that, or you're playing Vader, for instance. Vader, you need as much health as you can because you're trying to get to 7. But if you're playing Boba, you actually don't need the health because Boba's ready and resources. He's trying to come down on you fast. Then the less health you want to get to your where you're going fast. And I think McBarber likes to play like that a lot. So I see why he loves that card.
all right,
I'm
anybody
gonna
else?
lean towards this being way better. That's like it's just I'm not 100% there yet, but I think I actually don't think any of the starter bases are probably going to end up being like long term what you want to do if you're getting like free actions on any of them. But uh,
Question for you guys, real quick: do you guys see them making bases that sacrifice even more health, or maybe like different variations of health loss, like maybe 28 or 27, or based on the ability?
yeah, I think there's just gonna. I don't know if like the first set might just have one of each. Long term, I could even see bases with like downsides that have more health. Maybe that's the thing that will happen. But
All right, well let's wrap it up there, guys. And if you all made it this far, you're my hero.
Thanks for watching, folks.
Later.